Okay, 6 o'clock. Ready? Call this meeting to order. Would you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Mayor Rao,
Here.
Councilman Rao,
Present.
Councilman Hunter. Here. Councilman Laverie, Councilman Fitzsimons.
Here.
I haven't heard anything from Councilman Laverie, so I assume he's at work or unable to make it tonight, so.
Okay. We're gonna, on item 4B is gonna be scratched off the agenda tonight. Mr. Alstrom wasn't able to be here, so. Are we in compliance with our open meetings laws?
Yes.
Okay. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Anybody online? Okay. Consent agenda.
I'd move for approval.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Items for discussion, possible action. Approve or deny Lincoln County Fair and Rodeo's request for donation to help pay for the entertainment at the upcoming fair and rodeo.
I'll give a quick rundown of the financials. We have a budget for donations of $37,555. That, if we were to utilize that completely this year, that would zero the fund at the end of the year. So there's funds available, and after a few discussions, I found out that we will be sending 5/8 of 1%, which is a piece of the state mandated room tax, to the Lincoln County Fair and Recreation Board on a monthly basis. That will come to roughly $6,000 a year that we will be sending them going forward, and we'll be paying them $1,500 roughly back to April. So April, May, and June will be around $1,500 that we'll be sending them for the prior fiscal year, and then moving forward monthly about $500 a month that we'll be sending to that board from room tax.
And then to clarify, they would be able to access that by talking to the county room tax board, correct?
My understanding is that money goes to their room tax fund, and requests can be made for that money from the county.
Okay.
And,
So that money goes to. Can you come up here for me?
yeah, they want
Otherwise,
you.
I can't hear you on the recording.
You can sit, though. You can sit. Just turn the mic.
Can you,
If you'll talk right into the microphone, then that'll help me.
All right.
And if you don't.
Well, my name's John Young. I'm on the fair board there. I just wanted to understand that a little bit more. So, again, we can access that through, can you repeat that for me?
So my understanding, I spoke with Sean Frainer today, and my understanding is when we send money to the Lincoln County Fair and Recreation Board, they absorb that into their room tax fund. And then the fair has a separate fund for their activities, and requests can be made to their room tax board or to the county for funds from that money.
And that is the donation that comes from,
It's not a donation from us. It is we charge room tax in the city of Caliente.
right?
And the statute, NRS, I butchered if I try to tell you which one, but we are required to send the 1% charge that we're required to tax. A portion of that goes to the state, and then 3/8 of it goes to the state, 5/8 of that goes to the Lincoln County Fair and Recreation Board.
And the reason why it's coming up now is because up until April, for whatever reason, the city was not paying that to the county. So we've just restarted those payments back to the county, the 5/8. So it really doesn't have much to do with the action tonight. You guys are requesting, what, $5,000-$6,000 from us? But we've had this discussion before where we weren't paying that 5/8 for some reason, and we've restarted those payments. So I guess here on out, I guess our view, I don't know if that's the view of the board, but we would just be making this, not necessarily a donation, but about $6,000 a year will be going from the city to the county from now on, is what we're saying.
And we just didn't realize that that was supposed to happen previously, and nor did the Fair Board probably realize that that was supposed to be happening via the NRS. And so now that will be a good donation. But for this request, what are you guys asking for total right now?
Well, we would like to see 10, we have in the past, but as much as we could get. It goes for the entertainment there at the fair. There's a guy by the name of Donnie Landis coming in. He's a clown act. He also has mini bulls for the kids, and the more we can get, we'd put on for the community there. So we would like to see 10 if it was possible, but a minimum of 6 is what we're asking for.
I think last year we gave 5, if I remember right.
Okay, the way I understand this, we have been given a donation each year for the county fair. And from now on, you'll have to go to the county and ask for their room tax, because our donation to the county fair will be going to them.
And that starts this year, right?
Yeah,
For us to access that money for this.
No,
physical-
for the next time. for next.
Yeah. We're gonna start contributing, we're gonna be sending a monthly payment to
Right.
them starting right now.
Okay,
So by the end of this fiscal year, we will have sent them roughly $6,000, depending on how much we
Okay.
bill, or how much revenue is generated.
But you've already sent April, May, and June.
I just found out for sure that I
Okay.
needed to, so I will be sending them basically a catch-up for April, May, June.
So 1,500.
Yep, roughly.
I would make a motion that we send to the county fair $6,500. That would be 5,000 plus the 15 back that we owe.
Well, so I still have to send them that anyway.
Right.
So that's gonna happen regardless of what happens tonight. If you know, if the idea would be to, you know, factor in the 1,500 that we're gonna send
45.
and net that against the 6,000 that we're looking at, then it would be like 4,500 to the fair, but then they would have to go still to the county to try to get the other 1,500 that we're gonna be sending to the Lincoln County Fair and Recreation Board, so.
I kind of look at it and realize that the fairs is what, in 3 weeks?
Yeah,
They're in kind of a need for it right now in order to get those bills paid. You know, we obviously want to have that entertainment and those kind of things, and so I think it's more pressing that we get something to them immediately and then figure out the details.
Well,
From
my
there.
motion was for 6,500, and nobody seconded that, so apparently it dies for lack of a second.
And I'll second that.
All right, so
We better start over.
let's start over.
Yeah.
Clean slate. How much, so I guess how much, so let's ignore, I don't know if ignore is the right word.
Disregard.
We have about $1,500 owing in room tax, correct?
Yeah, I think the real thing is, that money goes to Lincoln County Fair and Recreation Board. Whether that actually gets to the fair or not, we don't have any control over.
'Cause they
And
have to
so
ask for
if we want to contribute to the fair, whatever we want to contribute to the fair, it needs to be done through this motion. And the 1,500, if it goes to Lincoln County Fair and Recreation, they might use that for who knows what, something else.
Yeah, they're-
Um,
yeah,
So
they're
whatever we decide to give in this motion will probably be what the fair ends up with. And then they'll have to figure that out for next year going to the county.
Yeah, like James said, they're in a bind. To be fair to the fair, we have they're buying this year, but that $500 every month is gonna be, you know, for next year, we'll be off the hook for that because we will be sending that $500 in, which would equates to $6,000 a year. So we could, with that, you know, we could potentially give them 6,000 tonight, and then we don't worry about it again because our $500 payments, they have to build up for the next year.
Where can we take the money out of right now? Would it just be out of the
Room
room
tax.
tax?
Yeah, just out of room tax.
You got a motion in a second.
Get a second on it?
I think we're gonna start with a fresh motion.
Yeah, I
I'm
think it's,
confused as, I'm
Yeah.
confused as to what the motion was.
so dies on a lack of a second, really, to start out with, right? Okay, so now I can entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we pay Lincoln County Fair Board, we give them the 6,000 this year. And then with our payments for the yearly, you know, for every month until, you know, for the next fiscal year, that way next year they can go to their own Lincoln County Tourism and Fair Board to seek the funds. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Franklin?
So the
Just a $6,000 donation to the Lynn County Fair Board.
That's what,
Sent
that's
the
what we're
15.
after now.
Because you haven't sent the 1,500 yet, right? Okay.
But that doesn't have anything to do with this.
I second that motion for 6,000 to the Lincoln County Fair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to give the Lincoln County Fair Board $6,000 out of the room tax. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries.
Thank you.
Can you come up and ask that so I can hear it if we have discussion?
I'm just curious, how much did they get from the county room tax board?
I don't have that information in front of me, but I can certainly report back.
Okay. Update concerning ongoing grants administration. City clerk, give you that report and your regular report.
Okay. So the State Historic Preservation Office gave their approval on the contract with Spectra. So we have a signed contract with them, and we're hoping to have a pre-construction conference meeting on the 4th of August, is what Linda reported to me today. That's all I have for grants administration. I've provided you with my report just at the start of this meeting here, and it's included in the packet. But, so if there's any specific questions, I really just wanted to make sure that we discussed the fact that there was a fire at Hoover Dam, and we don't know exactly what that impact's gonna be, but there will be an impact to the amount of power that Lincoln County Power District can get from the Hoover Dam because of it, and therefore I anticipate another notice of rate increases on top of what I presume Linda presented to you last meeting, which was a previous email stating that we would be receiving another at least 10% increase to our power from Lincoln County Power. So that's not great, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that one, I guess. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. We're still working on our year-end close and working with Stacy and Dan at Dan MacArthur's office to get this audit done. That will be done in a timely fashion this year, so that'll be nice to have out of the way early. Any specific questions for me on anything?
Right. I do share an office with SHPO in Las Vegas, so,
You do share one?
yeah, I've been meaning to bring that up to you, so. if you-
Okay. Okay. I think that could be useful. I think we might be past that part. I mean, we might be, to the point where that's,
But if you got questions.
but if we do, yeah. The only other thing I wanted to note is hopefully everybody filled out or did their contribution and expense report. And then I think I saw everybody did that. And the other thing is the League of Cities event that's coming up in August. I just wanted to make sure I got everyone registered. Is everyone planning to attend that?
That's 10 through 12, or that's,
August 10th through 12th. I just want to make sure we got registered. Tommy, you told me you were going. Jamin, were you thinking you were going to
Yes,
go?
I'll make it. For
Okay.
some, I might have to skip a day, but
Okay. Joe, do you know? Okay, so everybody's going to go. Okay. Grant, you're not going to be able to go, correct? Were you planning on going?
I don't believe I'm, I'll take a look.
Okay. Okay. So I'll get us signed up for that, and that's all I have.
On your report and also on his report, you got the, going over the dumpsters.
Yes.
Okay. Certain dumpsters, specifically the one at the Shady Motel, when you're gonna go by size to make sure that they're built right.
Correct.
Okay, the one at the Shady Motel, right after that was a cafe on the corner. There was a bookstore or a video store there, and the city got permission from the video people that own the store to put a dumpster back there for community use. And it's still being used for community use. So and so is the one on the other side. So that one you really can't charge them a lot for it because the whole community's using that. And that's what you're after anyways, get more community people using it.
I think, so yeah, I mean, that's a loaded topic, but yes, I'm gonna go through, the purpose of that was to make sure that I could go through the billing and make sure that everybody that does have them and intends to have them is being billed appropriately, and that, you know, if there are certain situations that create a different, I guess, pay scale, I'm gonna try to clean that up because my preference would be to not have special circumstances that create billing problems that never really get caught and then continue on. There's several of them that I've found. So that's what we're working through, to try to make sure we get an understanding of everything that's being billed. And if we need to make adjustments or move dumpsters or do something different, we will do that.
And we have been in contact directly with the owner of the Shady Motel about the dumpster situation there and the bills. So it's, I don't think it's gonna be an immediate fix on this project.
Yeah. We will get there though.
Okay, any other questions for our clerk? Public Works Manager.
You guys have my report. The biggest thing I want to highlight is we did interviews here for new Public Works 1 position, or to fill that position. And after the interviews and going through the process with the committee, we picked Raymond Thompson. He's going to start August 1st. And that's the biggest thing I want to highlight there. Does anybody have any questions for me on the rest of that report?
Raymond Thompson or?
His son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His son Raymond. Yep.
I figured, but,
Nowhere in the paperwork does it say he's a junior, so
We just call him.
I understand.
that cemetery leak, was that causing all that grass
Runoff
to be
down in-
dead and runoff? Like
Mm.
that, where that patch is all dead on, I'd say, the southwestern side?
I don't think that's the reason for the dead grass, because this leak showed up immediately running across the road into somebody else's yard.
Okay.
And we went and shut it down and then helped them find it and on and off several times for them to be able to figure out if they had it fixed or not. So I don't think that's what caused the dead spot.
my son's banner,
I have it in my Durango. Sean gave it to me today. So we'll get it back up.
want me to hang it this time?
I think we can handle it.
Okay.
Did by
Wasn't done
chance,
very well the first time, I'm just saying. if I was hanging something for a veteran or a military person, I'd take a little pride in it, but I know you didn't personally hang it, but
I understand. It'll get hung up.
fix it from the get-go, I should have.
Did by chance you get the dumpster fixed that you sent me a picture of?
No,
How come?
because there's 2 people working in my shop right now besides me, and we don't have time to get to everything, Tommy. It will get taken care of, but we haven't had time to get to that one yet.
Well, at least you know that it needs it.
I absolutely know. You've sent me pictures, and
I-
George talked to me tonight, and yes, I understand that it needs it.
I sure hope you don't keep making excuses, though.
Wow. I think you're out of line, personally.
I don't.
Well,
right.
that's nice, but it's an ongoing process. And I don't have the help in the shop to do the work. And I understand it needs to be done, but it's not a major priority. It's a lid for a dumpster.
You to tell me that I'm out of
Let's-
line.
Let's move on. Okay, any questions for Grant? Okay, discussion of legal issues. Mr. Katsky.
Yeah, so I've been in contact with Linda. Craig talked about the Spectre contract a little bit. I reviewed it. Linda sent it to me last week. It looked like everything that was already approved through this council when we did the opening of the bids last month. Spectre was the one that responded anyway, right? So it looked like a pretty straightforward contract. We also, there's been a lot of discussions with the county lately regarding the RTC. I think at this point, the county is pretty clear on the city's stance of dissolving the RTC. We had a pretty good meeting that Friday morning last week. Mayor Rao and I believe Councilman Rao were there as well, right? Along with Mr. Perkins and Mr. Roysam. We had a pretty good conversation with them. As we've talked about before, the county's hands are actually tied without our approval to dissolve the RTC, and we made it clear what our stance was. So I don't think that'll be coming up necessarily. That particular discussion about dissolving the RTC will come up in the county anymore. We might be, I'll be discussing with the district attorney some possible changes that'll still protect the city's interests, but it'll also resolve, I guess, the county's heartburn with the RTC at this point. So we've just got to sit down and work out those details. And again, I don't think necessarily that the county has to come through us to change about the changes that we've talked about, but it's something that I think the city should work closely with because there are only 3 members of the RTC, Mr. Rao being one of them, a member of the county commission, and then I think they have a at-large member that the county chooses. So like I said, they're pretty clear what the city's position on the RTC dissolution is at this time. I don't think there's anything else at this point, but yeah, I'm here if you got any questions.
Questions for attorney? Okay, building inspector's report. Mr. Dixon.
You all should have a copy of my report with you. If anybody's got any questions about it, just let me know. I do have one issue with Clover Creek Organics new building. They currently do
Pull your
not
mic,
have a.
Ken, will you pull your microphone closer to you?
They do not have a licensed general contractor as yet. Just can pull the permit. It's a state statute requirement that any commercial project has to be done by a general contractor. And they're trying to find somebody now that will give them a price within their budget. So that's been an ongoing thing for the last couple of weeks. They're still looking. So there's not gonna be any more action on that until they get a general contractor signed up. And if anybody's got any questions, I'd do my best to answer them.
On this propane pumping on there, what is that about?
I'm sorry, Tommy, I can't hear you with that noise.
Talk into your mic there.
On the propane pumping, completed, what is that all about?
On the propane pumping,
You still waiting for a final inspection of certification or
he's not moved in. He can't move until he gets a certificate of occupancy. And he's just, right now, he's not anxious to get moved in. In fact, I think he's on vacation. So,
Okay, that's on that Spring Heights one.
yes,
Okay, I understand now what it was.
and that's the plumbing. It's not, we're not pumping any propane up there. That's the plumbing is, he's got when he first started out, he did not have enough capacity to run his kitchen utensils and everything else that he wanted to, and he wanted to do his heating by propane. So we had to completely redo his plumbing for the propane, but that's all taken care of now.
Any questions for Mr. Dixon? Okay. Discussion of issues related to public safety. Fire chief. Any questions for the fire chief? Okay. Discussion of council members' responsibilities, parks beautification, Mr. Fitzsimons.
Okay, Mayor, apologize, last time I was absent, I was on vacation. The debrief of our Tacos and Rita's event, they ended up making about $1,300 profit after they paid all their bills. Quick debrief, they don't know if they want to do that as a standalone event in May or keep it on the 4th of July. They're going to try to get a pulse of the community, of what they want. Put out flags for the 4th. It was a big hit, though, the Tacos and Ritas. It was very streamlined, limited choices. People moved through pretty quick, we thought. They're taking a break on meetings for the rest of the summer, at least July. Next meeting should be August 22nd, be the 3rd Tuesday. So it's in about a month. And that's about all I have on that. Had some citizens approach me about some of the stuff on the walking path. That's kind of been addressed with the parks crew, fixing some of those leaks and breaks. And I've talked to Grant about that as well. And we've seen a decline in some of the vandalism at the Rose Park. We had some of those issues. And I think it's some type of kids, whatever, but other than that, that's all I have on my report.
Any questions for Sean? Community development, Councilman Rao.
Yeah, we didn't have a planning commission meeting. Monday, I attended the county commission meeting, and as our attorney reported, that they voted against the diesel tax, and we told them our feelings in regards to not wanting to dissolve the RTC. So I think they've given that idea up. And there's going to be an RTC meeting here in this building at 10 o'clock on the 27th of July. And the RTC plan, future plan, is out, and they say it's in draft, and there's an awful lot of errors in it. And we're working on getting them errors straightened out.
What's the date of that meeting again?
The 27th of July,
July.
which is next Wednesday. And that's all I've got to report.
Any questions for Tommy? Okay, tourism, Boxcar Museum, Mr. LaVerie.
Yeah, the only thing I have is kind of work related, but could be city related, and I didn't know if you knew about this, but I gotta take Horsford on a tour like early August, and I didn't know, it's coming to Lincoln County, so I thought maybe you might be aware of that already, or,
Heard anything myself.
okay, so I'll try to incorporate something with the city into that as well. And I'll get you the actual date once I know it, but it's supposed to be like the first week of August. But the information I got has Caliente labeled on the reason why he was coming, so.
Okay, maybe they'll notify us before they come then.
But it's an opportunity maybe to dual rule.
Okay, we'll get a list of things we might want.
Right. That was really all I had.
Any questions for Mr. LeBerry? Okay, public utilities, Mr. Hunter.
Okay, not a lot to report, as you see with Grant's report, they've been extremely busy. I want to commend the Public Utilities Department. They have had to put up with a lot in the last couple of months. They've had staff turnover, and I especially want to thank Grant. He has stepped up and has been out there working side by side with the guys, as well as directing and instructing and taking a heavier manager's role in those things. And despite he was going through an election at that same time, he managed it very well, and we've seen a lot of things happen. We haven't seen a lot of problems in the city that haven't been handled, even though we've been short-staffed. You're still seeing, I mean, Grant's tipping the garbage cans through town every Thursday with these guys. They've done a very good job with the amount of staffing issues that they've had, and so I just want to publicly recognize them and thank them for their service on it. And yes, there are some things that are being put by the wayside, but the major city services are being taken care of, and Grant's working hard to get those things rectified and taken care of.
Any questions for Mr. Hunter? Okay. I don't have anything to report on my side, so we'll move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I failed to report on the ribbon cutting that they had on the bicycle trail at Kershaw. There was quite a group of people there. There's probably 25 people there. And that happened on the 11th of July.
That was mentioned to me a couple weeks before, but I had never heard anything more about it, so I was not there. So, anyway, any other public comment? Okay. How about our date and topics for our next meeting?
Our next meeting will be Thursday, August 4th. I know Mr. Alstrom is planning to be here for that meeting, so we'll put his item on there. And I don't know that I've received any other requests specifically, so I'll be waiting to see what else comes through for that meeting. I will be gone that day, so Linda will run that meeting, but 6 o'clock here.
Okay.
One of my employees had to come down here and get something, and they came back and were extremely pleased with the service they got.
Probably wasn't me then.
I said it was you.
Well, thank you.
Big compliment to you.
Okay, any other business to take care of? If not, adjourn this meeting.
34. I had bets with Franklin if it was gonna be below 638, we should have took the under. Huh?
That signature. signature sheet to get signed.
Happy birthday, Mary.
So, yeah, it's all good. Hoping this week.
Yeah, so we're just gonna annex his 40 acres in. Well, it's 48, 40 minus 8.
We're gonna de-annex the whole thing.
No, we're annexing, and we are annexing into the city. the part
Additional
that's-
property.
Yeah,
Additional.
yeah.
So where he tied that parcel that was part of ours, where it was tied to an additional
Yeah, so we're not detaching, we're annexing more.
Okay, so my question is, are we gonna take down the house site?
Yeah, so his house is, yeah, the lot that his house is being on, built on, is mostly already in the city.
Yeah.
So he has a portion of his house that's being built on the county, but we're annexing that portion into, everything's in the city.
So he's gonna have to get a city building.
Yes, that's what we talked about.
And taxes.
Right, yeah, that's why we're doing it, because
Well,
we wanna
of
keep the
course, yeah.
tax base.
I couldn't figure out what was going on with that to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're good. He's just gonna want to annex everything in. I don't think he needs a new parcel map. I think it's just the map that he's used. Thanks, Ken.
Don't tell me you're on. Yeah.
So I don't know if I approach him, but I don't want to approach him and say, hey man, you got a business license? That's all I got.
Oh, you emailed me.
I emailed
I'll
you
look it up
saying,
and
and I
respond
gave
to
you
you.
the name of the business.
All in one detailing or all in one?
All-in-one detailing and power washing.
Yeah.
So they were just doing Jamin's truck before I got here, so I was gonna say, Jamie, did you, I was gonna say, Jamie, did you ask him if he had a city business license?
Recording stop.